Good evening, boys and girls, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, my name is Lee, aka Rollin Thunder, and in today we're going to be having a nice little catch up and a nice cheerful chat about the week and everything in between. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of tea, and let's get into the video. So ladies and gentlemen, how are we all doing? Slowly but surely the UK is getting back to normal, and in today's video I guess I just want to try and keep things a little bit light-hearted, nothing too serious, you know, because normally I've always got something to moan about, but ironically not today. It's Friday, I'm feeling good. I will however talk about things that have happened in the week, like starting from last weekend to this weekend. The main thing that sticks out for me, well, the main two things that stick out for me this week. One, I got to meet a lovely big Great Dane dog called Max, who was 9 years old, which is really cool because this thing was a fucking bear. And what I'll do is I'll stick a picture of him up as we go along. But yeah, this dog, bless him, this thing was fucking huge. It was like a Shetland pony, I kid you not. He must have stood about maybe almost 3, maybe 4 feet tall, and I kid you not, if you can imagine a lion's paw, this dog's paws were not a million miles away from it. I kid you not, this dog's paws was fucking huge, and it had a head, I kid you not, if you can imagine what the head of a racehorse looks like, this dog's head wasn't far off that. He was absolutely huge. Well, it was a gorgeous looking dog, I'll give him that. And I was talking to the owner, and he said he'd had 9 of them. Sorry, 9. That's how old the fucking dog was. Yeah, Max was 9, so he was getting on a little bit, but beautiful, gentle giant. You know when you see a dog and you think, oh fuck me, that thing's huge, it's going to be aggressive, but he wasn't. He was so gentle, didn't so much as make a noise when he was in the shop. It was amazing how quiet he was for such a big animal. When I was talking to the owner, he said that, you know, the dog loves affection, he loves being made a fuss of and stuff like that, and do you know what, it was true to form. The dog absolutely loved being made a fuss of. Me and my colleagues, Ben, Lewis, were all over this dog. It was such a timid, well not timid, but such a placid big creature. And it was just such a joy to have him in the shop, if I'm honest. And yeah, like I said, speaking to the owner, he said that he'd had 5 of them. I said to him, mate, I'm not being funny, but how do you survive? Do you know what I mean? This dog must have eaten like a fucking legend. So you know when you see a dog you think, do you know what, it must cost a lot to keep, like, it must cost to keep him going and that, like food wise and whatnot. But this fucking dog, I kid you not, if you'd put a whole roast chicken in front of him, his mouth was that big, I kid you not, he could probably have swallowed the fucking thing in one go. It's like, you know when you think to yourself, fucking hell, I wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of that dog. It was literally like that. Literally was. And I never got the guy's name of Max's owner, but if you ever see one of my videos or anything, thank you for bringing him in the shop. It was an absolute pleasure to have him in the store. So that was the first bit of entertainment for the week for me. The next bit is a little bit more comical. Now, you know when you've just passed your driving test or you just passed your bike license and you are looking around, like you're still quite wet behind the ears in terms of learning stuff and whatever else, so you're constantly looking around and blah 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 blah. Well, I had the unfortunate encounter with a learner wearing a roof boxster helmet and riding what I can only assume was a bored out Piaggio Typhoon. That's about as close as a description I can give you. It must have been a Typhoon or something or another. But anyway, that's beside the point. My reason for saying that this was entertaining to me was a simple fact that this kid, I kid you not, he must have been no older than, say, I would say 19, and he had this, what I can only describe as a dead caterpillar on his top lip. This thing, this poor Poor excuse for a tash. It must have taken him about 2 years for him to fucking grow the bloody thing. But it was pathetic, it really was. If you can imagine one of those really shit Ron Jeremy style tashes, it basically looked like one of them, you know, proper 70s porn starish kind of thing. And what didn't help the fact that this kid was blonde, so this thing looks even worse. But I digress. I'm not slating the kid's appearance, because that's not what I'm about. But this, like I said, this kid was riding around on what I can only assume was a modified Piaggio Typhoon, probably a 125 board out to a 172, you know, like all the kids seem to be doing these days. And he was in front of me. Now, if you know the area at all, there's a section of road between Morden Station and Lower Morden, where Morden College is, or Morden, is it Morden Uni? Or Merton College, or whatever you call it. And you know, minding my own business, riding around as you do, and this kid's in front of me. Now he's tried to pull away and pull away and pull away, and I'm like, I'm not chasing you, bro. If you do your thing, I'll do mine. So with that, I'm going along minding my own business, and this kid starts looking back at me, and I'm like, what the actual fuck are you doing looking back at me? And bearing in mind, this kid must have been doing about 50 miles an hour while looking back. Now, I don't know about anyone else, but in my eyes, that's fucking lunacy. It's asking for an accident to occur, which it nearly did, which what made me laugh even more. Because what happened was, as he was trying to be all big and clever and whatever else, he didn't take into account that the road started bearing to the left. And with that, he's still looking back. I mean, literally, this kid is looking the completely wrong way at me. Instead of focusing on the traffic or where he's going, he's looking back, and it's like, what are you doing, you absolute fish? Anyway, he's still looking back, and as the road starts to bear to the left, he doesn't anticipate how great the angle is of the corner. So as you can imagine, say like this is the road, as it bears around to the left, the kid's there looking back at me, and instead of going following the road round, he starts veering to the right towards the central reservation and the curb. So I'm still looking at him, still watching, and like I said, he's still looking back, and then what happens? Fucking curbs his scooter, doesn't he? Thankfully he didn't come off, because if he had done, me being who I am, I would have had to have stopped to help him. But I'm really quite relieved he didn't actually come off, because that would have been fucking messy. But I digress. So with that, he hits the curb and tries to make out it, you know how kids do when they try and style things out. Is it, yeah, look at me Bev, look at me Bev. That was a really terrible impression of a chav, but you get the idea. So he's still giving it the big un, and I'm like, I don't know what planet you're on or what you've taken this morning, but seriously, just grow up. So you know when you look at someone you think, what actual planet are you on? But you can't actually say it, but it's like, seriously, fucking behave yourself. You're looking the wrong way, you're trying to, you know, play up to the fact that I'm sitting behind you. I'm not in any way, shape or form looking for a race or looking to try and overtake you or cause you to make a mistake, but it's, you know, why? Just fucking why? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that you should not be looking backwards while driving forwards. It's not fucking difficult, do you know what I mean? But you know, some kids, he may have been on the road for a couple of weeks, he may have been on the road for a couple of years, I don't actually know, but either way, what they were doing, what this particular kid was doing was fucking dangerous. And not being funny, but I'm not prepared to be around that, if I'm honest. So I just let him get away. You know when you have one of those moments when you just see red? I did see that did happen to me, but instead of me letting it get the better of me, I was like, no Lee, you don't need to chase him, you've got nothing to prove, it's a beautiful Sunday morning, just fucking wind your neck in, get to where you're going and be happy. Which is precisely what I did. And you know, I had a bit of a chuckle to myself about it while I was on the way to work and stuff like that, you know, as you do. And I was like, yeah, the kid's an idiot. And I actually showed some of the guys at work what this kid was doing, And they were like, fucking hell, how does he not crash? I was like, honestly, I don't have a fucking clue how he didn't crash. I don't know, maybe he had fucking, you know, balance of a cat or whatever, but it's like, dude, how did you not come off when you hit the curb? I mean, there was one time, there was one guy that I used to know called Rob, and he started working with me, and he passed his CBT and everything, you know, as you do. And the first ride out that we went on, it was me and all the guys from work and stuff like that, and we went to, where did we go? Brighton. And on the way down there, I kid you not, I wish I kept the footage so you could see what I mean. Rob actually hit this roundabout. I mean, not hit it in the traditional sense, like, you know, you come up to a roundabout, you bang it down to first or second or whatever, you give it a handful going round the roundabout, light the rear wheel up, you know, sort of showing off. No. This geezer nearly fucking fired himself into orbit. I kid you not. He went over this roundabout, and if I can remember where it is, which I unfortunately I can't because it was so fucking long ago, he quite literally fired himself over this roundabout, across it, and down the other side. And this roundabout must have been a good, I don't know, 30 feet wide. And because he'd overcooked it going into the roundabout, he naturally overcooked it coming out of it as well. So instead of doing, you know, what you're supposed to do, which is like back it off, slow down, turn into the corner, get all your braking and your gear changing done before you actually end up in the corner, he did whilst trying to go over the fucking roundabout. So naturally he got it very, very wrong. And in all fairness, he's fucking lucky he didn't kill himself. He really is. It was like, you know, when you have one of those really, really big eye-opening events, and you think to yourself, do you know what? Nah, fuck that. It was literally that. It was one of them. But anyway, on to more happy things. The chin mount is still holding on and doing well, as you can obviously see, because if it didn't, you wouldn't be able to see what I'm talking about and where I'm going. But she's still holding on, she's still doing well. Callum is in the process of making a few more different mounts, different leads. So the 10% off code will continue until further notice. The lights are red, love. What's wrong with you? But how is everyone doing? How is everyone dealing with COVID in whichever part of the world that you're in? I'd also like to just thank everyone for taking part and being part of the channel. Like I said in the previous video, we've just passed 3,500 subscribers. You know, the support has been amazing, and thank you everyone for thank you everyone who has liked, commented and subscribed to the channel. It really means a lot to me. It gives me the motivation and the inspiration to keep doing what I'm doing. Okay, granted, I seem to be going in the same directions all the time when I do my videos, but it's a work in progress, do you know what I mean? I hope everyone's looking forward to World Superbikes and British Superbikes and MotoGP coming back to our tellies. That should be hitting TV screens in hopefully the next couple of weeks. I don't know how long exactly, but with any luck it shouldn't be too long. There has been a provisional calendar drawn up for both World Superbikes, MotoGP and BSB, I believe. Also, another video I did, the video I did the other day about you know, the steering on this feeling a bit off. I figured out what it is. It's not the bike, it's me. It definitely is me. The conclusion I came to was this: thanks to either the way I'm sleeping at the moment, or the way the mattress is indoors, or something, there's something not quite right with my shoulder. And it's not so much that it's not a problem that I can't ride around, because I can. It's a problem which has bugged me for a good number of weeks, and I've tried my best to try and deal with it and ignore it, but you know, when you just have a problem, it's like, nah, fuck this, it needs to be dealt with. That's pretty much where I'm at. And the problem is that my left shoulder in particular, I've either got a trapped nerve or a pinched nerve, one or the other, call it what you will, but in my left shoulder I'm suffering with, you know, massive losses of strength. And it's not through any fault of my own, do you know what I mean? Because it's not like I'm trying to enter a Mr. Universe contest or anything like that, but it's just like I just don't have as much strength as I used to have in my left shoulder that what I have in my right. In all fairness, I'm kind of contributing it down to the fact that I've put the original clutch slave cylinder back on this bike. And I think because of how stiff the actual action of the lever is, it's actually putting a lot more stress on my shoulder than it needs to. So I'll probably end up having to go back to an aftermarket one at some point just to help ease the pressure. Oh, pardon me. So hopefully that's going to help things. Also, I'd like to also take the opportunity to point out that yes, I know the Frank Thomas leather jacket video hasn't come out yet, but it will do soon. I promise. I'm going to try and do it for next week if I can, but obviously if life gets on the way and work and whatever else, I'll try and do it as early as I can. But as always, boys and girls, make sure you like, comment and subscribe. Like I always say, your continued support is always greatly appreciated, and I love you all for it. If there's anything else you'd like to see, or if you like what you see and you want to see more, make sure you like, comment and subscribe, because all the support is greatly appreciated. Anyway, boys and girls, this is where I'm going to leave you. I hope you've enjoyed the video. As always, make sure you like, comment and subscribe. Look after yourselves, look after each other, and as always, be safe on the road. And as I always say, this is Lee, aka Rollin Thunder. Look after yourselves, and as always, adios.
You ready?